I actually grew up in British Columbia, but I've been here for 8 years pretty much now. I spent a lot of time in the woods as a kid, you know, picking up salamanders and chasing squirrels with my dog and looking at mice nests and snakes, and I'm still really interested in animals. I guess just being out in the woods a lot kind of leads me to want to try and create what I see out in nature. I started pottery about 34 years ago. My mom is a potter, so I pretty much grew up working with clay, and I was always down in the studio with her. She does a lot more functional pottery, mugs and bowls and cups and plates, and I do more sculptural animals. I do a bit of functional pottery, but it's mostly the sculptural pieces are fired in a process called raku. It comes from the Japanese tea ceremony, the raku firing. The pieces are, after they're fired once, so they're hard, I glaze it again, and I take it to an outside kiln where I fire it, and I take the pieces out when they're red hot, and then I put them in newspaper, and that smokes, and there's I put a lid on it, and there's a reduction atmosphere in there, so it pulls the coppers that are in the glazes to the surface. Taking the piece out when it's red hot will crackle the glaze, so that then smokes and all those crackle lines come out in the piece. When it's finished in the newspaper, finished smoking, I take it out and it's covered in smoke and charred newspaper. It's really dirty, so I have to scrub each piece with steel wool to reveal that white. So anything that is black on here is just the smoked bare clay, and this white here is the clear glaze with the white clay showing through. So this is a white clay that I start with. So I think about the color palette that I use, which is a lot of coppers, but also the black and white effect. So I think about what would look nice, you know, with crackle, lots of crackle, maybe a white crackle. So for instance, a baby seal, a harp seal, you know, looks really good with the white glaze, and a snowy owl, penguins, puffins. And I also work, like sometimes, just depending on my mood, I'll feel like making, you know, tons of starfish. So you know, I'll sit down and I'll make 200 starfish. It takes me a few days, but you know, I'll do that. Or another day I might feel like making something totally one of a kind, and so I'll just start designing a larger piece. I do make lobsters and puffins and moose. Try and incorporate things that are found in Cape Breton that the tourists are, you know, excited about seeing. And you know, they might be on the Skyline Trail in the park and then come in and say, "We saw a moose," and I have a little moose plate, you know. And every time something new crops up in my mind, it excites me, whether it's just a little, you know, a little tiny thing or a large sculpture.